Hi everyone! A couple of days ago, I finally received my Sephora VIB sale package, and some of you guys were requesting me to do a full face of first impressions using the products that I picked up. This is almost going to be a full face of Fenty because I happen to get a lot of things from Fenty Beauty, but I figured this would also be a good opportunity for me to try out a lot of the Fenty Beauty products so I don't go into my full face of Fenty Beauty not having any experience with these products. The only products that I didn't pick up are brows and mascara. I'm not too interested in trying any new products from either of those categories, but everything else that's going to be on my face is going to be new or a first impressions. I do want to start out by hydrating my lips. I did pick up the Fresh Hydrating Lip Balm in Sugar Lemon. I love lemon scented things. Lemon scented things and lemon flavored things are my favorite, like a lemon cake, lemon dessert. Oh, it's so good. For my foundation, I have the Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation in the shade 280. I used to be quite a big fan of the regular like Pro Filter matte one, the long wearing matte one. Ooh, I'm kind of afraid this is going to be too light. No, that looks like it's gonna be okay. I actually had the matte one in a few different shades and I really enjoyed that foundation. I'm pretty sure I also owned it in the shade 280, but I stopped wearing it because I do work at Ulta. It's not that I don't like having to send my customers to Sephora for their makeup. That doesn't bother me. But I remember I used to get a lot of questions about like what I was wearing if I was wearing my Fenty Beauty foundation to work. And I hate having to tell someone that they can't purchase the foundation right away, or like I can't shade match them for it because we don't sell Fenty Beauty at Ulta. But Fenty Beauty is one of those brands that I get requested to do a full face on all the freaking time. So I did want to pick up one of the foundations, but I picked up the hydrating one. Even though I am oily, I was curious to see how the hydrating one performs because I already had experience with the matte one. And I feel like a lot of my viewership is way more interested in like hydrating dewy products. So I went with the hydrating one. This honestly is not as hydrating as I thought it would be, but it does have a really nice coverage. I do feel like the coverage probably can be built up, but right now it's displaying a pretty true medium full. I do have a little bit of like blemishes on my cheek right here and over here that are peeking through, but I kind of feel like another layer of the foundation over top of those areas would take care of it. I'm looking in the viewfinder though, and I do see like a little bit of a glow. However, when I'm looking in the mirror, I don't really see that much of a glow going on. The shade match though is pretty nice. I'm going to take the rest of the product that's on the back of my hand, but I'm going to use a little sponge to press it into my skin. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit more dewiness, but that's like obvious, I guess, because I'm using a sponge. But yeah, so far I'm liking the way that this is looking on my skin. I'm curious to see how it will wear. But the next product is the Fenty Beauty Concealer. I also picked this up in the shade 280. I have owned this concealer before, but I wish I had remembered that the concealer shades run really light. The idea behind the concealer shades running a little light though is because they want you to highlight with the concealer. I don't mind the look of my concealer being a little lighter than the rest of my skin, but it's not something I especially prefer. I do like my concealer to match my skin tone a little bit more than this, but I do feel like once blended out and once I have the rest of my makeup on, it will end up looking okay. I think I mentioned this earlier. I have tried this concealer before and I really liked it. I don't know where it is. I'm pretty positive my sister took it. That's usually what happens to a lot of my products, but this is a really amazing concealer from what I remember. It vaguely reminds me of the Urban Decay All Nighter Concealer with just a little bit more hydration, and it's like a little bit more blendable than that concealer. Okay, yeah, when it blends out, it actually looks super duper beautiful on the skin. So I am going to powder my face. I did pick up the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch setting powder, and I picked up the mini size of this. Considering this is a mini, it is rather large, which I really appreciate. I really want to get into the habit or just get in the mindset that buying minis is okay. I am definitely one of those people that consider the price per ounce when purchasing makeup products, and minis, notoriously, their price per ounce is much higher than buying the full size. So I usually skip out on the minis. However, it is so unlikely that I go through product, like, ever. Even for me to like hit pan on product, I hardly ever do that. So I really need to get in the mindset that buying a mini is okay. This was definitely way cheaper than buying the full size, and I have so many setting powders that I like that I can't imagine I would go through this setting powder. Oh, I shook it way too much. Ooh, yikes. But I can't imagine that I'm going to go through this entire setting powder. And you know what? If I do, then I know that I really, really liked it, and I can go ahead and treat myself to the full size. I am going to bake with this powder. I feel like Fenty would give us a powder that I could bake very well with. I've heard amazing things about this powder. I know a lot of people really, really like it. Bakes really nice. That's good. If a powder doesn't bake well, you can tell because the powder will kind of bunch up on the skin. But this powder is really applying so smoothly. That's beautiful. Oh, you know what? I have cream products, obviously. I totally forgot. But I was watching a little video of Rihanna using her Fenty Beauty products, and she said that her cream products can be used over powder. So we'll see about that. I didn't really put any like directly on my cheeks. I'm going to leave the skin like that. I am going to fill my brows in really quick. So next is eyes. I didn't get any sort of eyeshadow palette, so I am going to have to dip into a little matte shade. For that, I'm just going to be using my Glossier Sky Wash in the shade Echo. So these are from the brand Touch in Soul. These are the Metalist Sparkling Foiled Pigments, and these are incredibly beautiful. I'm going to swatch these for you guys, and they are seriously like out of this world gorgeous. So this shade right here is Golden Tangerine, and then that one above it is Honey Brown, or Brown Honey. What is it called? Honey Brown. These are just like really the most beautiful foiled eyeshadows because not only do they give that very metallic foiled look, they have that shine about them where it makes the skin look wet, and that is like my favorite. I love a wet eyeshadow look, so these are just amazing. Which one do I want to put on? I think I want to put the Honey Brown on, so I'm just going to get some of that shade on my finger. It's the best way to apply these sort of foiled pigments, and I'm going to kind of try and disperse what I have on my finger between my two eyelids. I'm sure that because these are pigments, they are going to go a very, very long way. Oh my word. These are just beautiful. I'm getting a teeny bit on a smaller brush just so I can make sure that I can get it in that inner corner. Like I said earlier, I did not get a new mascara. I don't like trying new mascaras, so I'm just going to use something that I already have, which is the Tarte Maneater. Now is time for the Fenty Beauty cream products. I am ecstatic to try these. I just got one shade of the cream bronzer in the shade Macchiato, and it just looks like this compared to my skin tone. I was a little worried when I saw all three of Alana, Sam, and Christy swatching Macchiato because they are considerably more fair than I am. And I was a little bit afraid because I had already picked out Macchiato and I didn't, you know, obviously I can't like be out here returning things right now. But when I saw this in person, I definitely recognized that this was going to work out for me. And this does look like a very nice, actually, a really nice bronzer shade. And I know I did powder my skin, but I did not powder down here. But it's really not applying as smoothly as I thought it would. But honestly, considering that it's supposed to be a hydrating foundation, I feel like it's dried kind of matte. I just don't know how hydrating that foundation really is, and if people who have dry skin would actually really like this foundation at all. Just warming up my nose. I'm gonna add a little bit more product over here. I guess maybe it does look smooth. I've always had this little weird patch right here that usually like I'm able to fix with a little bit of like baking powder right along the line, or sometimes I even go in like with a little bit of concealer like right under here. I'm able to kind of make that little part work. I'm actually gonna go in with this brush right here and just kind of go along that line. I'm going to continue building that up a little bit. I definitely do think I could have gotten a darker shade, but I am going to keep going because I know a lot of us also want to see the Fenty Cream Blush, and this is in the shade Rose Latte. This shade is quite a bit darker in the pan than I expected it to be, but I did swatch it and it definitely is not as deep as it is in the pan, which is good. Oh yeah, this is like my most perfect blush shade. These are not as like creamy, glowy as I expected them to be. I kind of feel that way about the foundation too. It's not as glowy and hydrating as I thought it was going to be. Like I feel like my skin looks very matte, even though I didn't really apply that much powder to my skin. Okay, so I'm building up the blush and it does build up nicely. I've heard that it's really sheer. People are saying that it's really sheer, but I feel like you can build it up. At least on my skin tone. I do think Jackie Aina made a video on the Fenty blushes and she was saying that she couldn't build them up on her skin tone, which is very concerning obviously, but on my skin tone I'm not really having that issue. Just taking the blush kind of across here because that's what I like. I like that look. And I'm going to put some on my nose. It's kind of odd. It's not nearly as glowy and dewy on the skin as other cream products I've tried, but it is pretty nice. Like I could see this working for someone who might like more full coverage looks. I feel like just my cheek right over here is just looking weird, but it's probably just has a lot more to do with like application than it does any of the products. None of this stuff is just nearly as dewy as I thought it would be, but you know what, it's fine because I am oily, you know, this, you know, could work out very well in my favor. Before I move on to lips, I do want to spray my skin with All Nighter. I don't know, like want to add something to my face. I just was feeling like a little tight. I have two lip products I bought during the VIB sale. One being the Dior Lip Glow, and I got this in the shade Rosewood. I don't know if you guys watched my recreating Hannah B's makeup look, her no makeup look, but she uses a Dior Lip Glow, and I had a Dior Lip Glow from like years ago, but it was like berry shade, and I don't even think they had this shade when I had bought my berry one. But when I went to look for other shades of this product, they had a pinky brown nude shade. So I definitely went ahead and scooped it. I'm going to apply it to my lips right now. Ugh, my lips are really dry. I haven't been drinking nearly enough water, so my lips just feel really dry. That is a lot more pink than I wanted it to be. That is a really pink. No, it's cute and it's flattering, but it's not a pinky brown nude, and it should not be named a Rosewood. This is a pink, not a Rosewood. Could be a Rosewood on someone lighter than me, which is usually the case. This is not a pinky brown nude, unfortunately. So I just removed the Dior Lip Glow and I exfoliated my lips as well because I really was able to see how freaking dry they were. But I also picked up a Tower 28 gloss. This is in the shade Fire. I usually don't do the corally route, which a lot of you guys know about me. I kind of wanted to go with the orangey shade because I felt like it would be a good summery shade. And I do want to try and force myself to be a little bit more into corals. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and apply this shade. That is really cute. I think it looks very flattering with the rest of my look. This gloss feels really nourishing, very buttery, and it does give off the appearance of a very glossy, wet lip. However, I did try it in my live last night and I had to reapply it a couple of times. I feel like I can't talk because it's gonna like stick together, but it's not sticky at the same time. But I had to reapply it a couple of times because the gloss would wear out really quickly. So if you're looking for something that's gonna be like a really, really long wearing gloss, I don't know if I would really like this that much. But here is my final look. What do you guys think of these new products in my collection? I don't think any of these products are like actually new. Oh wait, the cream blushes and bronzer from Fenty are very, very new. But a lot of these other products were just really new to me. I am really happy with all of my purchases. I am really happy with all of my purchases. Looking at my look right now, I don't think there's anything that I really, really dislike. If you guys are wanting more of my opinions and thoughts on the Fenty products, definitely make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications on for when I do my full face of Fenty. That will be very, very soon. I'm really excited to see how these Fenty products are going to be wearing throughout the day, so I have more of an opinion to share during my full face. But so far so good. Everything looks pretty nice. I'm curious to see how it wears on oily skin, but again, I'll have those opinions formed for my full face of Fenty, so definitely keep a lookout for that. But this is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I see you next time.